Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of Caveat Emptor, Buyer Beware. Today's episode refers to the Denver International Airport. Many of you have heard about it. It's fairly new, or it's been under construction forever. They had huge construction delays, had to redo all their baggage works. I just very recently visited the Denver area. Been there a few times, but I didn't fly in before, so I flew in this time. Was only there for about 4 days. Rented a car at the airport, and I did do pretty good diligence in terms of pricing on what I could get on a rental car. And I drove out to Estes Park, and here's what the deal is with the Denver airport. And it's quite a tourist trap, and I know they all are. All these airports tack a bunch of price onto your car rental, and so my car rental was certainly much more expensive than I would have rented from a regular rental shop, not on an airport. It was more expensive than it's been at other airports. The choices and so forth were more expensive. And in addition to that, you don't actually pick your car up at the airport. You have to go on a bus, and I don't know how long it is, but it's in other words, you can't just walk out and go get your car. You have to get on and get your luggage out of there. You have to get another bus. You go to this bus thing, and the bus runs every so often. They try to sell you on another fee for express. I guess it would be like getting a cab there or something. So you're already paying through the nose. But here's the real kicker about the whole Denver airport that I've not ever seen anywhere else. There's a road out of the Denver airport, which I don't think there's any choices, or there's minimal choices. And if I go back there, I'll look into this again. There's minimal choices in terms of other alternatives. That road is a toll road. And if you have a rental car, it records your plate, and automatically you are charged it through your rental company. And in this case, it was $33. Now, I don't know how far I think the toll road may have been a 30-mile stretch, so maybe 60 miles all together. So for $33 added on to you. Now, again, $33 itself would not be that much, but you add it on to an already highly priced rental car issue, and then you start to get to the point of mad. And here's the other thing is, I'm sure it's probably there somewhere, but you have to look very good to have understood that you were going to be getting off and into a car where you were going to be charged a toll fare on addition to everything else you paid. You just wouldn't know it unless you look very closely. And maybe it's there somewhere. It must be in that agreement somewhere. I do remember something on their agreements things about tolls, but I thought it was a general statement. And I've rented many times. Now, this company that I rented from was Hertz, to make this clear. Like I said, I've rented from them many times. But here was the other kicker that became just almost unbearable with all those things together. So I wasn't sure, whether I was going to need it a certain number of days or possibly one more, just the way things were going to work out. So I needed to extend my car rental one more day. I had rented it for 4, I needed it to go to 5. Again, I've rented this many times, even with Hertz. And in any situation I've ever rented a car in, when I extended it by 1 day, I paid for one more day. What they do at this Denver airport, Hertz, is if you go from 4 to 5 days, you're charged the weekly rate, which might be slightly better rate if you were going to have the car for 7 days. But for what becomes 4.5 days, which was, for me, I needed it a little longer. I didn't need it a whole day more. It became, my next day was $140, basically. I was going to, for a half a day, because I was going to be a little later than the turn-in time, was going to be $140. Now, I got them to put that down at the regular daily rate, which they acted like they'd done me just the biggest service in the world, and I was a criminal for even asking about it, and that was already a high rate. So that's a caveat emptor that Hertz has a very unusual system there where they'll get you if you go from 4 to 5 days for a whole week's time. And they have the toll road thing where they charge you a good amount of money for a toll road that you wouldn't know about unless you ask. So, you know, and who knows to ask? I mean, that kind of thing I do now. But the other thing that I think you can do, and I had looked into this, and I'd called and asked a thrifty place, and they seemed to be willing to do it. I wasn't sure if this would be some resistance to this, because these airports have huge fees for airport rental. What you can do, again, you'd have to be careful that it's not a rental company that is making sure this doesn't happen. And Thrifty told me that they would not, you know, I could do this to get out of the airport rental fee. You take a cab to a rental outlet that's a couple miles from the airport, and the cab fee won't in any way come close to the daily charge that they, you know, the extra tax they smack onto your thing. So it's still cost effective, but some people, you know, they don't want to end up in a situation where they have to take a cab from the airport after already landing. But in this case, it's not, almost no different, because you have to take this freaking bus anyway. So it's like taking a cab, and, you know, I would recommend that, or to look into that. But that's my caveat emptor. This is Digisphere, and one of the reasons I went ahead and put it on this is because I have this series on here, and it's the digital world that they're doing this on. They have your license plate, and they have cameras, I believe, but they might even have a wireless, you know, almost phone thing for it. But I believe if you were to go in and out of the Denver airport with your own car, I think you're going to get charges. And there was no toll booths that you could stop at. So they also have some kind of plate capture option, which again, I've experienced that too through other toll road areas, but just not where I didn't know anything about it, and it was a large amount of money, and you know, it's another gotcha on top of the rental car. So caveat emptor for all you who might go into the Denver airport. Me personally, if I go through Denver, I'm going to find a way to avoid that in any way possible, because I just don't like being surprised like that, and it's a totally stick 'em up gotcha situation. So there.